Welcome to our Sunday morning meditation service. You're welcome to chant with the response when I do a call and then you respond. Or you can just go into meditation state, whatever you want to do. The whole thing is to feel the presence. Speak with the mouth of God. Love with the heart of God. Walk with the feet of God. Sing with the voice of God. Live in heaven, here and now. Live in heaven, here and now. Dance with the soul of God. Walk with the grace of God. Breathe with the air of God. Think with the mind of God. Live in heaven, here and now. Live in heaven, here and now. Heaven. Heaven. Here with the words of God. Never ever fear God. Merge with the mind of God. Feel with the love of God. Live in heaven, here and now. Live in heaven, the mouth of God. Love with the heart of God. Walk with the feet of God. Sing with the voice of God. Live in heaven, here and now. Live in heaven, here and now. Heaven, heaven. Dance with the soul of God. Walk with the feet of God. Breathe with the air of God. Sing with the voice of God. Live in heaven, here and now. Live in heaven, here and now. Heaven, heaven. Dance with the soul of God. Never ever fear God. Merge with the mind of God. Feel the love of God. Live in heaven, here and now. Live in heaven, here and now. Heaven, heaven.
Good morning, everyone. Here we are, a few days away from a new year. And I think most of us think about a new year as an opportunity to make some positive changes in our lives. And we have the tradition of people making resolutions for the new year and resolving to cast out some difficulty or problem in their life, or possibly some personal problem, some bad habit or addiction. Or in many cases, people are affirming, they want to affirm something positive that they need, that they feel their lives will be best served by. So there's a whole consciousness of change, that something that the new year might provide is an opportunity to change. I can remember many situations involving making these particular affirmations or resolutions. I remember way back when I was living in New York City, before I was married. I had a best friend and a writing partner who, he was a pretty hip person, but he had some difficulties in his own personality, as I did. One particular New Year, he decided to give up smoking. And I think it was because he had a cough. He had developed a cough. It wasn't long range, but he had developed a smoking cough. And his girlfriend really was getting on him about the cigarettes. So one day I'm with him and he said, you're looking at a person that has smoked his last cigarette. And he took his pack of Marlboro cigarettes and threw them in the wastebasket on the corner in New York City. And he said, are you going to join me? I said, no, I'm not going to join you, but I will not smoke while I'm around you. And so we left and went about our business that day, which was good business. We were headed down to General Artists Corporation to try to talk about a screenplay we had submitted to this agency, the biggest agency in New York. But that evening, we were supposed to go out and kind of celebrate. And he had his girlfriend, and I had mine. And he stopped at the very wastepaper basket that he threw his pack of Marlboros in, and he went digging through them to get back his cigarettes. And I'm afraid that we human beings quite often haven't got the strength to follow through on a resolution. Many resolutions fall by the wayside after a few days. And so when we talk about making resolutions, I will share something with you this morning that will bring about any particular resolution that you are seeking. But to understand it, you'll have to be very open, because I want to talk to you about the often forgotten quest of your soul to enter the enlightened life. And this is not a casual ideal. This is a life-defining ideal. I should make a note, because I got information here that I was going to talk about at the burning bowl ceremony. That's the burning bowl right there. We're not going to be doing the burning bowl ceremony at this first service. It was decided on Friday that we might wind up doing it here as well, the first service, but I got off to a late start this morning. A lot of things just didn't work out. And so I'm going to pass on this. If you want to do the special mystical burning bowl ceremony, you can stick around for the second service, which is where we'll do it. So today I want to talk about true life. I wish I could see out there clearly enough. Ask how many people have found true life. And if you find it and come to it, if you attain it, you will know that it is true life. But you also know that the root of a tree is covered by soil. It can't be seen, and yet the root of that tree actually provides life for the entire tree. It absorbs the life of the earth itself, takes in the sun, the nutrients, takes in the life sustenance it needs to bring life into the tree, to the very leaves of the tree. Jesus refers to himself in the Gospel of John as the tree of life. And this is what we're talking about. Because there is a root consciousness that human beings have, but it also is invisible to the physical eyes. And yet it gives life to everything. It gives each of us life. It gives us life and insight and understanding. And it gives life to the entire world. It gives life to the entire universe. We refer to it as God, but it has many names. Names like Krishna, Buddha, Christ. Charles Fillmore chose the most meaningful biblical quote in the Bible. Christ in you is your hope. And it's this divine root consciousness is sometimes referred to as cosmic consciousness or universal consciousness or the higher self even, or the true self. As I'm saying this, are you there? I mean, some of you are. But if you're not, you have to be saying to yourself, how close am I? Is it something attainable? What would attaining it mean? It would mean life of joy and peace, insight, knowledge, a life where fear is eradicated from the consciousness, and peace, joy, and true love fill the awareness from the opening of one's eyes in the morning to the closing of one's eyes at night. This love, joy, peace fills the awareness, motivates the awareness. That's why it's referred to as the pearl of inestimable value, that the merchant sold everything to buy. this is what is our soul's quest, to come into this life consciousness. And that is all we are talking about here today. Let me fortify this point with this quote from the book of Acts in the Bible. Can we have this first PowerPoint? You can read this in the book of Acts, chapter 17, verses 24 to 28. God, who made the world and everything in it, being Lord of heaven and earth, does not live in shrines made by man, nor is he served by human hands as though he needed anything, since he himself gives to all men life and breath and everything. And he made from one every nation of men to live on all the face of the earth, having determined allotted periods and the boundaries of their habitation, that they should seek God in the hope that they might feel after him and find him. Yet he is not far from each one of us, for in him we live and move and have our being, as even some of your poets have said, for we are indeed his offspring. Now, if you're there, this just resolves it. You hear it, you know it, you live it. But if you're not there yet, this may sound quite alien in a sense, that it's not something that actually is the motivating force of your consciousness, your thinking, your actions. Can we take this back again, please? This is being spoken to the Greeks in Athens. They had all these shrines and places where they went to worship a particular god, asking for some favor. And Paul was there, and then he had seen some of these shrines and temples and came to speak to them. And this is what he said. I'm speaking to you of the unknown God, for which they even had an altar in Greece to the unknown God, just in case they had missed it. They had all these different gods that they worshiped, but in case they had missed it, they had one to the unknown God. And here he's saying, I'm speaking of that one you refer to as the unknown God, who made the world and everything in it, being Lord of heaven and earth, does not live in shrines made by man, nor is he served by human hands, as though he needed anything, since he himself gives to all men life and breath and everything. And he made from one every nation of man to live on all the face of the earth, having determined allotted periods and the boundaries of their habitation, geographically speaking, that they should seek God in the hope that they might feel after him and find him. Yet he is not far from each one of us, for in him we live and move and have our being. As even some of your poets have stated, for we are indeed his offspring. A mind, an ego-centered mind, that is not focused in this awareness is a mind that has only led one astray, has only embraced illusions that have ultimately brought about more fear, concern, disappointment, disillusionment, even though some of those illusions came to pass in their beliefs they fail to fulfill the individual whose mind is focused on that illusionary definition of life that is confined to a mind-encapsulated body. That is the lie we were born, raised, and defeated by. We must transcend that limited thinking. And it can only be done when one has reached that place where he or she is willing to take to task his or her own awareness. This takes spiritual awakening, spiritual practice. But until then, that mind that is ego-centered pursues the world and the things of the world and the treasures and pleasures of the world in hopes that they can be possessed and ultimately will bring that fulfillment that one's soul is seeking. Ministers need illustrations in order to make some points clearer to those that are part of the congregation. And there are a number of illustrations. Almost in every talk, an illustration is given. For me, anyway, I don't know if every minister is like that. And there are a number of illustrations about kings. You use an illustration to make a spiritual point, and you use a king did something or said something, or something happened and the king was involved. And using a king in an illustration is really valuable to make a point, because as soon as you use the word king, ordinary people tune in, because the king is a symbol of power and wealth. And so you're using an illustration about a king, they want to get in touch with that. That's what's important to the ego-centered mind. And so they're hoping to gain something from. So I'm going to use an illustration about a king, but it's an illustration about the human dilemma of the ego-centered mind and its human dilemma. One day this king was out riding with his entourage through the countryside and villages of his kingdom, and he happened upon a beautiful girl, a beautiful maiden. And the king immediately said to the lead entourage person, "Bring her back to my palace." And so the girl was delivered to the king's palace, brought into the king's beautiful area filled with gold and all the accoutrements of being a king. Very impressive stuff. And the girl was there, very humble, beautiful girl. And the king had one of his entourage bring in a huge bag of pearls. And he put the bag of pearls before the girl, and he said to her, "You may reach into this bag and pull out a pearl. And you can keep any pearl that you want from this bag, but you can only keep one. And so you can reach into the bag till you find the one you want to keep." And this he did to test her wisdom. Now, this is a problem for me. I almost avoid using this illustration because it's so implausible. Why did he pick her up and bring her to the palace to begin with? To test her wisdom? Was he looking for someone to play chess with? To do his income tax? So it's very implausible. Anybody want to hear the rest of the story? Anyway, the young maiden reached in and started to pull pearls out of the bag, and each one she would look at, but she wasn't sure whether this was the finest pearl, and she put it down and reached in again and looked at it. It didn't look like the finest pearl. And though she kept reaching in to find that pearl that would be the finest in that bag, and many of them were really fine pearls, they would be worth a lot of money. But as she reached in and had gone through almost half the bag, the pearls become less and less precious, and more they were a lot valuable, until she was only pulling out rocks from the bag. This illustration is given as the story of the ego's quest in the world. The ego keeps seeking something more, something better, something bigger, something brighter, something to be praised. And even when certain elements are reached, the ego needs more and more, because the ego does not know what enough is. Human beings are plagued with the same problem this maiden had. We don't know what enough is, and so we seek always more, and the greed gene takes over. And people who seemingly have more money than they could even burn in a lifetime are seeking more, or maybe they're seeking prestige or more envy. They need more envy, the people to envy them. And they're seeking and seeking and seeking, but they are, listen to it, it is the ultimate truth. The ego-centered consciousness is empty of love. It does not know true love, true joy, true peace. And so the illustration is about those who haven't taken to task their own awareness yet. They haven't come to true life. Can we have this next PowerPoint, please? This is A Course in Miracles, page 186. In your new text, you have the new text probably, 201. Never forget that the sonship is your salvation, for the sonship is His. Yourself does not need salvation, but your mind needs to learn what salvation is. You are not saved from anything, but you are saved for glory. Glory is your inheritance, given you by your Creator, that you might extend it. Yet if you hate part of yourself, all your understanding is lost, because you are looking on what God created as yourself without love. And since what He created is part of Him, you are denying Him His place in His own altar. In Him we live and move and have our being. And when we know that in everyone, God exists. As potential, possibly, but still exists. Can we have this back again, please? So never forget that the sonship, speaking about the creation in which you find yourself and all the people in it, is your salvation. For the sonship is His. It is God, in which you live and move and have your being and your life and your breath. Yourself, and he's speaking about your true self that is aware of this, does not need salvation, but your mind needs to learn what salvation is. You are not saved from anything, but you are saved for glory. Glory is your inheritance, given you by your Creator, that you might extend it. Yet if you hate part of yourself, all your understanding is lost, because you are looking on what God created as yourself without love. And since what He created is part of Him, you are denying Him His place in His own altar. I have counseled and discussed such truth as this with countless people over the years. And in some rare occasions, I see people take to task their own awareness. They get involved in the spiritual journey. But most of them do not. In fact, when I give a talk as focused as this, people have a tendency to not even return to hear another talk. That's how powerful the illusion in their mind is, that they are separate from everything else that exists. And trying to embrace the ideal that everything is God and worthy only of consideration, compassion, and love is so abrupt to the way they have conducted their lives that they run away. But here's the truth that will make you free, and there is no other pathway to true life. Oh, you can seek the treasures and pleasures of the world all you want. You may even gain some of the treasures and pleasures of the world. But in the end, it will be a dead end. It will be a wasted effort, a wasted life, if you have not come to your own divinity. And so it is that we have to look at these teachings from so many different points of view. Look at this master from the East. Can we have this next PowerPoint? Find the treasure within, Master Desheng. Therefore, please face yourself honestly. Discover the genuine I within you. Everything in the world, joy, sorrow, happiness, misery, and emptiness comes from you. It is all within you, because everything arises from you. You are the only one who can truly solve all of those issues. This is the truth. So entrust everything to your inner self. Let go of everything to your true self with firm faith, and observe how things work. Together, inseparably. This is the inner path, which teaches you to see all things as being not different from yourself, and which shows you that you and I are not two. Can we have this back again, please? It couldn't be said any plainer than this. Therefore, please face yourself honestly. Discover the genuine I within you. Everything in the world, joy, sorrow, happiness, misery, and emptiness, comes from you. It is all within you. Because everything arises from you, you are the only one who can truly solve all of those issues. This is the truth. So entrust everything to your inner self. Let go of everything to your true self. Allow it. Release it. If you're making a resolution, give that resolution you'd like to have fulfilled to your true self. In quiet meditation, not with many words, but just open your heart and mind in quiet and allow this resolution, this affirmation of what it is you want in your life, and allow it to be taken in by your true self, and it will be fulfilled. So entrust everything to your inner self. Let go of everything to your true self with firm faith, and observe how things work together inseparably. This is the inner path, which teaches you to see all things as being not different from yourself, and which shows you that you and I are not two. So we're going to go within. We're going to meditate together. Begin by taking several deep breaths. As you release your breath, release any specific or particular concerns that you may have. Release them to the God of all creation that gives life and healing to all. And you might want to take this particular mantra into your awareness. Gently give your attention to it. And if other thoughts come in, let them come and let them go. Return your awareness to this ideal. There is only one everything. In you, in me, in everything we see, there is only one. Only one. There is only one everything. One true life, one way, one path. In you, in me, in everything we see, there is only one. Only one. There is only one everything, only one true life, only one creator, only one creation of which we are all a part. There is only one in you, in me, in everything we see. There is only God. There is only love. as we go forth from this meditation to those places we occupy in time and space. Let us go forth with a greater determination to practice meditation every day. And for this opportunity, we give thanks. To this we say, Amen. We will take an offering for unity now. And those of you that are watching this live stream or on our website, you can scroll to that place that says donate. Any one of these ways here to donate to the Unity of Boulder. You are donating to the truth, and it will help you in your own quest to know the truth and live the truth. So as we take our donations in our hands, let's bless them with this offering prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, because I give. And so it is.
Why have you come to earth? Do you remember? Why have you taken birth? Why have you come to love, serve, and remember? To love, serve, and remember. To love, serve, and remember. Love, love. Why have you come to earth? Do you remember? Why have you taken birth? Why have you come to love, serve, and remember? To love, serve, and remember. To love, serve, and remember. Love, 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 love,
Join me now, please. We dedicate this tithe to the will and the work of the Spirit of truth. The Spirit available to each of us, the Spirit that joins all of us. We dedicate this tithe to the victory of the Spirit of truth. Amen. As usual, we will have our discussion group in Fellowship Hall. You go through these doors to your right. Fellowship Hall, we have refreshments there you can partake of, and we'll have a circle of chairs. We'll sit around if you want to discuss anything from this talk or anything to do with unity or anything at all. Just show up and we'll have that discussion. We will be doing a burning bowl, a special mystical burning bowl ceremony at the 11 o'clock service, which I will be officiating at. So you'll be getting somewhat of the same talk, but with a little difference toward an awareness of the mystical elements involved in devotion and the burning bowl. So I invite you all, if you want to stay, have some refreshments, and stick around for the 11 o'clock service. do so. Have an amazing day.